What is up, For Honor family? Hope y'all are doing well today. So if you look over my shoulder, you'll see an arcade cabinet back there. That's my retro arcade cabinet. I got so many games on there, and I have Miss Pac-Man that's up there right now. And you know why I have that on there? Because you guys, when was the last time you were in an arcade? That's what I want you guys to think about. When was the last time you were in an arcade? You walk up to the cabinet, you put your quarter in, or maybe you pay and you just have to press a button because they already got it loaded for player one or whatever, and you start playing and then you like, let's say you lose, or you look up at the high score and you're like, I wonder if I can get that. I brought that myself back to For Honor. Now I know we have an arcade and you got the weekly quest and you got all that stuff. That's not really arcade. But I actually took the event order. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, they had the transformation event order. Here's what it said. It said, transformation despair, black as ink, blinds me, and something inside stirs. Be the faction with the most executions performed in Bitter End. So Bitter End is that a new event mode. And of course, I jumped in there. I tried it initially. I got like 8 executions after 2 matches. I did like 4 different heroes as I was going through it. And I looked up and I kept seeing somebody or a couple people that were up there high. And I started thinking, could I actually beat that score? Can I actually catch up to them? So, because there really isn't much going on in For Honor. I mean, you can continue to play Dominion over and over. You got extra XP that's going on, so of course that's good. But I decided to just go ahead and take my Zanhu, take my Zerk, take other heroes into that bitter end game mode and try to rep them up that way and get executions. And by the end, I actually ended at the top of the leaderboard with 852 executions.
Get some help.
I am definitely a degenerate For Honor player, y'all. I couldn't believe I got sucked in that much where I was just the next bitter end match. And then I would check the event order. And then I would jump at the next bitter end match. And it took me back to a time that it was just so simple. You know, I wasn't getting triggered if somebody was catching up to me or if it was taking me longer to catch up to them. I wasn't getting bothered by that. It was just a challenge.
Challenging. He means challenging.
And that's what I love and that's what I miss. And I wish we could get some of that in the arcade weekly quest. Maybe somebody that finishes the weekly quest the fastest that week and it gives you something you can shoot for. You know what I'm saying? Give us an additional challenge other than just completing it. Because I actually did that. I did it myself with the event order. Of course, nobody else really knew what I was doing. It was just my own self-initiated challenge, but it made it more fun. So I'm curious, is there a game that you played or is there a game you had in the arcade? If you ever been to an arcade, some of you maybe have never been to an arcade, but just think back to an arcade. Think about that high score. You know, maybe it's a high score in a multiplayer game that you play now and you're like, man, I want to get that. I really want to get that. Let me know if there's a game that fits like that to you. Because with the bitter end, it was me. That was me. I was obsessed by the time. And you see, I ended up being like 300, almost 200 plus more than the other person that was next. Because I couldn't stop playing bitter end. I haven't been that way in a long time. Probably since I was back in the days in the arcade. And speaking of arcades, I don't know if you guys heard of the Pinball Hall of Fame. It's in Las Vegas. Every time we go to Vegas, me and my wife go to Vegas, well, she doesn't go, but I always want to pop in there because they have pinball machines, old school pinball machines dating back to like 1940 and whatnot. And then they have, you know, recent arcade games that you can play, as well as like the Punch Out, the Tecmo Bowls, you know, that kind of stuff that you can get in there and play. The Miss Pac-Mans and Pac-Mans of the world, Dig Dug, all that stuff. And it's so much fun, man. It's just so much fun. But I'm digressing. I just wanted to talk to you guys. I just went wild with that. And I was wondering if anybody else has had that experience. And what can For Honor do to kind of fill these dead spaces? Because I find myself just self-motivating myself to do different things like this. And For Honor, I want more from this game. I want them to give me something during this intermediate time. We do have testing grounds that's coming up in a day, but I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now. This bitter end game mode went down fast. A lot of people really seemed like didn't play it, you know, but my motivation did come towards the end. I had 72 hours to get this event order done, and I made sure I got it done. But let me know what your thoughts are. This was just a quick video just to go over that and talk about that. It's a fun thing. See my retro arcade? Well, you guys like that? Yeah, I got like It's got to be 1,600 games. You're talking about dungeons. What's it called? Dragons something. I can't even think of it no more. There's so many dang games. Any game you can think of, all the Street Fighters, all the double dribbles, or all the NBA jams, all that stuff is on there. So if you're gonna do something, get yourself a retro cabinet, put a bunch of games on it, and it's always there when you need it. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thank you for tuning in, as always. Till next time, it is a slow time in for honor. So yes, and I appreciate y'all. I ended the video and I really wasn't done saying what I wanted to say. That will be the last time I spend that much time doing that.
And be better for it.
But it still was fun, and I still would like them to incorporate something in arcade to that effect, where you can see a high score and maybe another player got it and you can try to achieve it, like for that weekly quest. That would be pretty cool. But aside from that, this is a shorter video. So what I did, I have a couple of videos. You can choose to look at them. Hopefully you do. It is gameplay. I know you guys got plenty of other places you might go for gameplay, but it's interesting because it shows me as a Varangian guard, and I don't really play Varangian guard that often, and I'm going against a Vert and Virtuosa. So if you guys want to see how that worked in that situation, it's just one encounter that I had on Dominion. It was towards the end, and the Vert ended up leaving after. I wish she wouldn't have, but sometimes when things don't go your way, you want to leave. So, but it's VG and Virtuosa. And then I have about a minute and a half of Nobushi play where we finished it off at the end. That was okay. It was pretty solid. So I feel good enough to, put it out here. If you see me play Nobushi, you see some of the signature things, that you'll see from a lot of Nobushi players. So if you don't stay for that, I get it. But you're supporting me. So hopefully you do. But seriously now, that is all. And no more buts. Thank you guys.
Enemy team is breaking. The enemy rally. Enemy team is breaking. Your team rallied.
Malaka.